Hi guys, Creative Lauri here. Welcome. So today I've got a lot of tasks ahead of me, so I thought I'd make some bread. Takes about 3 hours. It's either 2 or 3 hours, I can't remember. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Welcome back to everyone else. And I'm just going to be making a loaf of bread. This is white bread, which I know it's not the healthiest, but I couldn't get wheat flour, and I'm trying to use up my stash that I bought during COVID, which I'll go into in a second. But I just wanted to show my bread machine. It was from the thrift store years ago, and it was priced at $5.99. I don't know if you can make that out. Let's see, focus, there we go. And I think it was half off on top of that because they were closing it down. It was right by my house. It was so awesome. I can't find this. I only found one recipe online and now I can't find it again, but it was such a long drawn out recipe that I thought I'm just going to use any old bread machine recipe. So I always go to allrecipes.com. They're pretty like standard and easy to follow. I will link this recipe in the description box below. But so for $2.50, I think I paid $2.50. Or $3, excuse me. It was so clean. I use it a lot. It's got a paddle in there. You take this canister out. It's not focusing, but let me see if I can get it to focus. Oh, it doesn't want to focus, you naughty little thing. Anyways, you just dump everything in there. So this recipe calls for 3 cups of bread flour, but you can also use all-purpose. With that, I only have like less than 1 cup of all-purpose. So I was going to mix the two, but since I don't have enough for 1 cup, I'll just save this for something else and I'll put it in a little Ziploc bag back in the freezer. The bread flour is newer. I'm going to take 3 cups from that. Then it calls for, what does it call for? 2 tablespoons of white sugar. Mine is raw sugar, but that's okay. Aren't these little spoons so cute? A friend gave them to me, measuring spoons. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan. And then it calls for a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I'm using olive oil, organic extra virgin olive oil. And then 1 pack of yeast. And now in the recipe, you'll see it calls for 0.25 ounce. Don't get thrown off by these packets. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Let's see. It says 1/4 ounce packet. That means 0.25 ounce, which is 3/4 ounce. So same thing. So don't get thrown out. It's just 1 packet of active dry yeast. So you literally just dump everything. Oh, and water. It has to be at 110 degrees. So I'm going to get my thermometer out and heat up some water. And I have a ton of things to do in between the time it takes to make this. I'm making this particular one for a neighbor. And you could probably hear my fountain in the background. And the birds are just singing. And I'm just going to do what I need to do. You do it. And you set it and forget it, and it's done. Now, once it's done baking, you want to take it out because it has these, you just put knead bread. There's only very simple things that you can press start, and then it'll bake. Once it's done baking and it's on the warm, I usually take it out after a little while and hit stop and take it out and let it air dry until it cools down. And then, but before it cools down, I put a little butter on top and I'll show you. So I'll be back. Let me get going with all of this and I'll show you how it works. Okay, next you're supposed to put your water, sugar, and yeast into your bread maker. So I already did that. And you have to make sure that the water is 110 degrees. I'm just going to shut this so that gives it more warmth to activate. So they say to let it activate for about 10 minutes. That's what I'm doing. I got this great little thermometer. It's great for candies and such. Let's see if it'll focus. For 99 cents online somewhere, and I don't remember where. My dad had one growing up, and so I didn't want to take his, so I bought my own quite a few years ago. Don't do what I did by putting the salt and the sugar together in one little canister. I just did that to show you guys, so I had to scoop it out because the salt was in there, and you don't want the salt in there yet. It's an easy recipe, so like you could literally be, delving it out, putting it right into the canister. I just wanted to do it to show you guys, but we're gonna wait 10 minutes and I'll be back. All right, so you see how it's all activated and puffy? You can see the end of the paddle right there and there, like that's the middle part, and then that's the paddle part. So it's all activated and puffed up. Now we're gonna add in the rest of our ingredients and just hit start. Quick thing I want to say is that I switched the olive oil to vegetable oil because I couldn't remember if I had used olive oil in the past, and I thought, why am I using olive oil? I've never done that. So I did have vegetable oil. I did switch that up. It did call for that. The only thing I feel like you can switch up is like the type of salt, the type of sugar, and also the flour. So it just says that if you don't use bread flour, you can use all-purpose, but it might need more moisture. I never had that problem before actually, but let's see how this one turns out versus my other loaves to see if it's as dense or if it's fluffier. So we shall see. So everything is in there. I kind of layered it just because I could. I had done it separately. And all I'm gonna do is hit start. There's no white bread option or anything. So I just hit start. I'll be back. That's the puppy. He hates those noises. Hey, mister. So you can kind of hear it. See, it's so now I can go about and do my own thing. I need to clean off all this mess that I made, and I can go make the calls I need to make, the emails I need to do, and move on for 2 to 3 hours. I'll be back. Okay, let's take a peek. It's done making all this noise, so it's done kneading. It's warm and now it's rising. Ooh, don't let the heat escape like I just did. That's it, guys. It'll be ready in probably an hour and a half now. Maybe 2. Okay, it's ready. It's on warm, which means it's ready to take out now. Uh-oh. Wow, it really got huge. So the top, it's okay. That'll be nice and done. There's no crust, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna take it out and I'll be back. All right, like I said, it's done. It kind of exploded on the lid, so you need to take that down before it gets hardened. But here it is, and I took a stick of butter out and rubbed it all along each side, underneath the lid and the top, even though there's not a crust, but it's good. I always take this lid off, the top crust off first, and just eat that for whatever. It's good for soups and, just eating alone with cheese, jams, whatever, what have you. All right, but this one is for a neighbor who lent me something, and that was so nice. He came through for me. It's kind of an ugly loaf, but it's still fresh and warm, so I hope he likes it. All right, guys, this costs about 95 cents. I hope you look into getting maybe a thrifted bread maker, and if so, this is what you'll end up with. Okay, thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe.